Sudden and unexpected death from natural causes may masquerade as suicide, homicide, or accident, and vice versa. For many reasons, it is essential that the true nature of these deaths be established. Moreover, sudden and unexpected natural death, whether it be the infant found in its crib or the previously apparently healthy adult stricken by coronary thrombosis, it is a fertile field for research by the forensic pathologist in whose domain these catastrophic situations occur. Unsuspected infectious diseases, a threat to the community, may lead to sudden and unexpected death, and thus present themselves to the forensic pathologist for consideration. Prompt and correct diagnosis leads to quick mobilization of the prophylactic measures to prevent the development of other cases, or finding them while there is still time for therapy. Finally, the forensic pathologist has the responsibility of sharing his knowledge and experience and teaching those in a student status, undergraduate or postgraduate. The forensic autopsy table is probably the best point of departure for studying the effects of trauma, whether chemical, electrical, thermal, or mechanical, on the human organism. Thoughtful observations in the post-mortem room point the way to rational treatment at the bedside. In summary, the forensic pathologist studies those deaths where the public interest is involved. He is an impartial fact-finder in a most favorable position. He can rise above the partisan conflict. Never should he evade the province of the jury or usurp the prerogatives of the prosecutor. I have attended a good many murder trials. I have listened to a good many expert medical witnesses. Some of them have been fair, impartial, and just. Some of them partisan, clever, and biased. Unfortunately, it is this latter type which is in great demand. Too many lawyers like to call expert witnesses who help them win cases. The highly articulate partisan expert is called again and again, while the conscientious, really impartial expert is left to spend his time in the laboratory. I wish that every reader who sees these lines and who is subsequently called on to do jury duty would remember the above words of Dr. Adelson. Whenever you hear one of these experts deliberately trying to advance one side of the case, trying to impress the jury, feeding it just as much propaganda as is possible with his testimony, think back on these words of Dr. Adelson. Think back on his quiet dignity, his high standards of ethics, his devotion to truth, and his absolute fairness to both sides. The glib partisan expert may win cases for the side that calls him, but men like Dr. Adelson are the ones who are advancing the welfare of mankind and who are slowly but surely bringing about a more dignified concept of courtroom testimony. And so, with deep respect and admiration, I dedicate this book to my friend, Lester Adelson, M.D. Erle Stanley Gardner. Chapter 1. With the politeness that characterized everything he did, Mervyn Selkirk said to Norda Allison, "Excuse me, please." Then he leaned forward and slapped the child's face, hard. "Little gentleman," he said to his 7-year-old, "don't interrupt when people are talking." Then Melvin Selkirk settled back in his chair, lit a cigarette, turned to Norda Allison and said, "As you were saying." But Norda couldn't go on. She was looking at the hurt eyes of the child and realized suddenly that that wasn't the first time his father had slapped him like that. Humiliated, fighting back bitter tears in order to be a little man, the boy turned away, paused in the doorway to say, "Excuse me, please," then left the room. "That's his mother's influence," Mervyn Selkirk explained. "She believes in discipline from a theoretical standpoint, but she can't be bothered putting it into practical execution. Whenever Robert returns from visiting with her in Los Angeles, it's a job getting him back on the beam." Suddenly, in that instant, Norda saw Mervyn Selkirk in his true character. The indolent, smiling politeness, the affable courtesy of his manner was a mask. Beneath the partially contemptuous, partially amused, but always polite manner with which he regarded the world was a sadistic streak, an inherent selfishness which covered itself with a veneer of extreme politeness. Abruptly, Norda was on her feet, stunned not only by her discovery, but by the clarity with which her new realization of Mervyn's character came into mental focus.
"I'm afraid I'm bushed, Mervyn," she said. "I'm going to have to leave you now. I've been fighting a beastly headache, and I'm going home to see if some aspirin and a little rest won't help."
He jumped up to stand beside her. His left hand reached out and caught her wrist in a tight